Wow. Remember when the entire Marvel fandom was worried that half-hour episodes wouldn't give us enough to talk about? Or just even go over for each episode of WandaVision, because like each episode is only like 25 minutes? Well, crisis averted, because we have a lot to talk about in this video, just on the two episodes that were released this Friday. Hi everyone, it's Grayson, and this is Grayson Talks Everything. If you are new to the channel, welcome, and if you're not new and are returning, welcome back. We have a great discussion this week. And yeah, the MCU is finally back in full form, baby, and with a really good mystery as well, which we have surprisingly don't get a lot of in the MCU. So this is like a fresh change of pace on multiple levels. So let's talk about it. So, before we even start, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel to support me. And also, another way you can support me is to follow my Instagram, which the link will always be in the description to my Instagram. And you can get the latest updates on when videos are coming out, and to admire some art that will always be releasing, like these right here. And the Instagram handle, if you don't read the description, will be right here. Alright, let's get into this. Oh, and also, this is a spoiler review of WandaVision Season 1, Episodes 1 through 2. And there will be some theories that will be revolving around this, so you have been warned. So for a while, me and along with a big chunk of Marvel fans have already come to the conclusion that WandaVision will be adapting the House of M storyline. A story, for those who haven't read it, is about Wanda, aka the Scarlet Witch, who becomes mentally and emotionally unstable and uses her powers to alter reality and makes a whole new world basically for herself so she can feel better after the loss of her family, where she and others end up being trapped. But as I was watching the first two episodes, I realized that there's also another couple of other comics that can give us clues as to what exactly is going on in the show as of now. Now, while others think this is based off of Tom King's Vision run, which I also think might play a factor, not a huge one, but a factor, I seem to see more connections to the Avengers Standoff comic. Now, while it wasn't good, it does, when you look at it, it does give you some certain clues as to what is happening. So in the Avengers Standoff comic, it's basically a story that was released a couple of years ago, and in that story, the Cosmic Cube, which in the MCU housed an Infinity Stone, created this sentient child, with reality warping powers. It created this sentient, little girl with reality warping powers, and she used these powers to turn supervillains into quote-unquote regular people. And she altered reality to where they lived in this suburban neighborhood called Pleasant Hill, which is already a riff on on almost the same TV motif as WandaVision called Pleasantville. It's actually pretty good. And then S.H.I.E.L.D. in the story Avengers Standoff knowingly turned Pleasant Hill into a prison, encasing them in a force field, similar to the one we see in the WandaVision trailers. So now we know that the comics is definitely, at the very least, influencing this show. And so, especially in episode 1, that we learned that the organization SWORD has a way of watching Wanda's sitcom, or quote-unquote sitcom, and watching it, even though it does not seem that they're trying to be behind it or are behind it and entrapping her, because multiple times throughout the two episodes, they have been trying to desperately break her out for some reason, which we'll get to. And when it comes to Wanda herself in the MCU, it seems like what will drive her mad will be the double deaths of Vision. One time by her, or one time the death was caused by her, and one time the death was caused by Thanos. So, she didn't obviously break from reality right away, but it does feel like she's slowly descended into madness in the MCU. But that means at the end of WandaVision, it will be the end of the MCU's House of M storyline adaptation, where she will be snatched from her safe space and her children will be taken away from her. And in the comics, she uttered the famous "No more mutants" line. But as I'm hearing from the rumors around the internet, and seeing how this directly sets up Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, in this show, at the show's end, obviously, she will instead rip open the multiverse, which will be very interesting to see unfold. Now, also in the first 2 episodes, and due to all the subliminal suggestions throughout the 2 episodes, it is also very clear that someone is trying to convince Wanda to have children. Because in the first episode, everyone from the nosy neighbor Agnes to even Vision's boss and his wife were asking Wanda why she didn't have children yet. And then during the talent show in episode 2, what was the talent show for? The children, which was said multiple times throughout the episode. And then what do you know? At the tail end of episode 2, Wanda has subconsciously made herself pregnant. Now, why does somebody want Wanda to have children, per se? Because some outside force is definitely influencing her to have children, or to subconsciously make herself children. So does this entity of some sort know what type of children Wanda would end up having? And does it know what type of awesome powers they would possess? I mean, the people that read the comics, know that there will probably be Wiccan and Speed, who are Wanda's twin children in the comics. And they have actually pretty cool powers. They mimic her Scarlet Witch and her brother Quicksilver. If you want to read up on that, I suggest you do. They're actually really cool characters. But anyway, like, what does this entity or this outside force know that those characters are coming and are trying to snatch them up or trying to take them away for their own? So basically, why would they influence Wanda to have children if it's not to, like, steal her children? And stealing them for itself at the end of the show would end up making Wanda go insane. So again, a lot of interesting stuff is being evenly set up in the first 2 episodes, which I really like. Now, who exactly is working behind the scenes? And I honestly have 2 choices on who or what it might be. So, there is obviously Sword, who has been desperately trying to get in. They have been watching her sitcoms. There was a toy helicopter in episode 2 that Wanda found that had the Sword emblem on it. So it actually, before it even entered the world, it could have been an actual helicopter before it flew into Wanda's reality. And there was also that radio message in episode 2. And then there is Monica Rambeau herself, who is also seemingly trapped in this reality as Geraldine. And then there is Hydra. I honestly love their appearance here. First, when they showed up on the watch in the episode 2 commercial, but that watch is also called a Strucker, as in Dr. Baron von Strucker, who was working with Hydra at that time to give Wanda and Pietro powers. Now I feel like Hydra and Sword are in a desperate race to get Wanda first, or maybe Hydra already has control of Wanda and are trying to see the effects Infinity Stone radiation would have on newborn children. See what I did there? That could also be like the thing that's trying to, like, convince her to have children, to see those scientific effects. And Sword might be trying to stop Hydra and set her free. So maybe some of the citizens of this neighborhood Wanda is trapped in, which is, what do you think? Westview. It's called Westview. So some of the citizens of Westview might also be Hydra agents, just how Monica Rambeau is a Sword agent trapped in that reality. And who could one of those Hydra agents be? Well, it could be Kathryn Hahn's character Agnes, who is most definitely being based off of Wanda's mentor in the comics, Agatha Harkness. Only here, she could be just manipulating Wanda to fit the needs of Hydra. And it does seem that Agnes was way too aware of what all was going on throughout the first 2 episodes. So I honestly really hope that theory holds. I also just love the fact that Wanda still has some sort of control of this world that she is trapped in, even though she probably still doesn't think it's not real. Because when she saw the sword agent dressed as a beekeeper who climbed up through the sewer to try and reach Wanda, she just said no and literally rewound so that Vision and her never went outside to see him. And maybe he never, due to that, never went up through the sewer to catch Wanda, which I thought was super cool, and it had like the super dreadful effect, like a horror effect. I thought that was cool. And when it comes to speaking of which, when it comes to this unsettling undertone of dread, horror, and mystery in WandaVision, I think it was done very well here in these 2 episodes. Now, story-wise for both of the 2 episodes, I think they did an incredible job replicating the Dick Van Dyke Show and Bewitched. My favorite episode being the Bewitched theme one, which is the 2nd episode. They even replicated not just the type of sets that those shows were based off of, or those shows were based in, but the type of shenanigans that would definitely go on in both of those shows, which to me was super awesome. I also like how at the end of episode 2, their alternate reality transitions from black and white to color, just how like sitcoms did. I also loved Vision, especially in episode 2, and I loved how aware he was about being basically a robot. Those jokes were utterly fantastic. I also like, due to the fact that he was aware that he was a robot, he is also able to analyze and question things around him like no human could, which is why he seemed less taken in by the reality that Wanda was. The acting from everyone from Paul Bettany to Elizabeth Olsen especially, to even the supporting cast, was spectacular even on its own. And wow, those first 2 episodes, and I mean, yeah, wow, the first 2 episodes were pretty slow at times. And a little too cozy, like, even from us it seems a little too good to be true. It still felt like it deserved to be part of the greater MCU though. And that's because they have a great mystery set up for the rest of the series. So yeah, that's my review of WandaVision episodes 1 and 2. What did you think? Share thoughts down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also follow my Instagram to get latest updates on when new videos are coming out, and just to buy some art. Alright, bye everyone.